tuned in to the Finding Life podcast, GenAlpha Coaching Corner. Real conversations that help us understand, grow, and guide the next generation. I'm Life, alongside Coach Jon, and together we explore what really matters. Today's episode, courage and bravery. Moving forward when things are scary, new, or uncertain. We're talking to the chat and our tweens about what courage really looks like. Not pretending we're not scared, but choosing to move forward anyway. Let's get into it.
Anyway, Jon, talk to me about the purpose of what it means when we talk about courage. What is the purpose for our tweens, and why are we talking about this with them today?
To help them understand that bravery isn't the absence of fear, but moving forward with courage even when something feels scary, new, or uncertain.
So we go back up to Teresa says, right? Being able to still do it. Let me see what she said. Let me go back up, bringing in the chat. Teresa talked about when we said courage, I can't find it. Oh, to act in spite of fear, right? To do things scared, to do it scared, right? Doing it scared, being able to know that just because you're scared or fearful doesn't mean it's wrong. Doesn't mean it's bad.
Do it afraid.
Do it afraid. On the other side of fear, amazing things can happen, right? So talk to us. Like I know, you know me, man. I get into it and get, whoa. I look over at the chat and we got a 0 in the chat, bro.
Uh-oh.
We got a 0 in the chat. And so
sending love.
Man, not just love. I'm going to tell you, when we see a 0, and listen, kids, it's okay to be at a 0. And Asia, I want to tell you, you are modeling what it is we're talking about right now, and that's courage. Mm-hmm. So you being able to be here in this space, and I didn't even go through the rules yet. I don't know if you for sure know that this is a safe space, but the fact that you were able and had the courage to be honest and transparent about where you are at a 0 right now in this space, that lets us know everything we need to know about you. And not only do we send you love, but we send you hope. So often we just simply forget that if we have breath in our body and the ability and the sound mind, that literally anything is possible. And so, Aaron, Asia, right now, I just want to remind you that you have dreams, right? That no matter what, if you can find a safe space, we're talking about it today, you never leave you. That's what I think Aaron said that yesterday. You never leave you. So close your eyes, find a safe space, and get to dreaming. Remind yourself what it is you got on the inside. And I'm going to tell every one of our young people that's listening right now that may have felt or may feel like they're at a 0. Remember, every breath you take is an opportunity for your dreams to come true. Like, there is the only difference with, what did Michael Beasley say? Everybody is an overnight success. You just don't know which night. And so we want to send you that love, Asia. We want to send you that hope. And I know the chat is going to hold you up while we continue to have this conversation. And so we love you. We appreciate you being here. And chat, y'all do what y'all do while we kind of move into this conversation. So, Jon, talk to me about what they're experiencing at this age and like what we need to do. You know, I kind of get into it, and I got these my thoughts run. So keep us focused. What are we talking about? Like, how do we bring in the kids to this?
So at this age, kids are starting to try things on their own. New friendships, new school environments, even learning new emotional tools. And with that comes fear. Fear of messing up, fear of being embarrassed, or fear of not being good enough. Mm-hmm. We want them to know that being brave doesn't mean being perfect. It means trying even when you're scared. So let's start here. What's something you were scared to try as a kid, but you did it anyway?
Answer that yourself.
Man.
You already know I'm going to throw it right back to you.
I ain't gonna flex. I remember the first time, my older brother.
Yeah.
He had some alcohol.
Oh, Lord. Where are we going with this?
He had Grey Goose.
Oh, Lord. We talking to middle schoolers now.
Look,
listen, I got to make sure that I put the blinkers on.
But that was the only thing.
Okay, go ahead. We honest. These are middle schoolers. They might have gotten to the liquor
I was
cabinet.
scared to try it.
Okay.
But I did it anyway.
I don't know if that's where we was going with this. I don't.
But that was the first thing. That was the first thing I could think of. See, I was a kid.
Listen, children.
But that don't mean you do that.
I think Uncle John just modeled something else for us today, that we don't talk about the first thing that always pops into our minds. You understand, amen? Sometimes we let that first thought go on and go, and then we bring it on back. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
But that's what I tried. I tried to sip alcohol, and when I tasted it, it was the worst thing I could have ever tasted.
Yeah.
So after it hit my tongue, I just that ain't for me.
So let me give an example, because that's a good one, right? Because there's a lot of us that do it scared, and we do that, right? Peer pressure. Don't be afraid to say no. I'm gonna believe that there was nobody there. I don't think that John is succumbed to peer pressure.
Wasn't.
I think it was his own mental. It was intrusive thoughts. I think that's really kids what it is. It becomes intrusive thoughts that we got to be able to talk about, right? That he was dealing with. But let me bring this back, because I kind of want to talk about something that middle schoolers may be at right now. And I'm going to tell you where I was. It's my first paper route. My first job, if you will. Mm-hmm. I was in the 7th grade. And you know how we was talking about yesterday, and we were, or in last module, we talk about wanting things and like feeling embarrassed when you don't have things.
Yeah,
bro, that was my whole life. So in basketball, they sent me to the Catholic school. The Catholic school, they were not hoopers, but they looked like it, right? They all had the brand new shoes, all of the brand new stuff, and I was an actual hooper, and so that means I had holes in my shoes, right? I was
scuffed up, and it was terrible. They done been through work for real.
I put in them hours, right? So I decided that I didn't want to ask my parents for anything, but I was really scared to try. Like, I would go to the pet shop, right? And I knew the guy. I love going to the pet shop, and I was like, man, I'm not old enough to work, right? So I was very scared to ask anybody for a job, like asking, can I sweep up at Mr. Carter's who cut my hair? I was just always scared to ask for work. Man, I seen this paper route, right? So we're driving home from school, and I see like a little sign that says paper route, ages 11 to 15. And I was like,
I could do that. And
so I was scared to ask anybody, right? But I still went ahead and did the part that I needed. I needed to get a job. Bro, I got my first paper route, bro, in the 7th grade. And I started making my own money. And I'll never forget, I bought my own Jason Kidd bubble shoes for basketball season that year, bro, for $89. Bro, and I felt everything. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so when you have fear, we oftentimes get scared. Being scary is a fear of the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
You don't know the response. I'm going to challenge the kids who have parents who yell a lot, right? And listen, I was one of those parents. You are a little more scared of someone's reaction to your voice and to your question and to your statement than you actually are of the consequence of what's happening. So for you, what I always say, and I want you to help us with this tool, for you, what I always say, if you're scared of having conversation, stop having it so much in your own mind.
Yeah, and that's it.
Right? Start having the conversation out loud first. The more that you have the conversation in your mind, you play the role of everybody else. Right. And you play the worst role. You give the worst time that you had with them is who you're going to use as the character. So I challenge you guys, right? Just have that conversation out loud. But the question then becomes, how do you validate that fear, or how do we validate their fear without letting it define them? Like, how do you say to them, it's okay to be scared, right? But then you don't have to be scary.
That's a good question. Let's drop that question to the chat.
So dropping it to what did we just say? You drop it. What is it? You don't even know what I asked all the way. Listen. I said, how do we validate?
How do we without letting it define them?
So let's to the chat. A lot of us are parents, right? How do we validate that fear? So what would you tell that young person, that middle schooler, about their fear, right? That it's a real thing, but they don't have to allow that to validate them or to define who they are, right? What would you say? The chat says, who can be scared with your father? Who can be scared with our father behind us? Let me tell you, I'm happy you said that, right? Because truth be told, there's a lot of kids who don't have a solid or strong belief system, right? And it's not about the father. A lot of kids struggle right now because they don't see their actual physical father, right? And as a young person, if I don't see my physical father right here and he abandoned me, what do you mean to tell me that some person or some being that I can't actually see is supposed to do what for me, right? If my actual person, that being that you're saying is actually put them on the earth for me and they abandon me, a lot of the kids are going to say, screw you, screw them, both of y'all fathers, right? And so that's kind of what we want to make sure that we're talking to, is giving them, our young people, an opportunity to be very real, and it's great to turn these kids to relationship with spirituality, but we have to make sure that we are present for them in real life.
Yeah. So,
right.
So to the question you're saying, how do we validate their fear without letting it define them? I think the big space is, if there wasn't space or created for them to have where they can express what that fear is, or knowing how to actually identify it, I think that's the big part of showing them how to identify it and how to navigate what it is they're feeling. And so to the point of being mindful as a whomever that person is that they're expressing this to, or even if you're seeing it, almost being mindful of your reaction, right? Or your response to whatever that is that they're expressing, And I think the biggest piece to what you're saying, a lot not having a belief system, I think early on not understanding or being taught confidence at an early age plays a role in that piece. That makes sense.
No, it makes it makes absolute sense. And so when I think about this tool that I kind of want to make sure they are able to take with them, right? When we talk about courage, right? It's not it's important for them to know that courage is a fundamental principle of their ability to love themselves, right? And to see the things that they want from themselves. And so I want us to that courage ladder that we talk about in the book. We're helping them to name something that they're scared to try, right? And then breaking it into small steps, and using courage to be able to emphasize that if they're able to practice these things and do them in small steps, it gains them that confidence. And so, young people, I need you to know that when you are scared of something, right? When you are fearful of something, when you are scared of something, not only does that not define you, that's an opportunity to grow. That's an opportunity to learn. And most times fear becomes a spidey sense for greatness. It's something that you can grow, and it's something that you can learn in. And so we absolutely want you to not be afraid to do things, right? Not being afraid to do, and just work on that confidence and work on that personal belief.
And then I'll share one instance that I can remember as a kid that I think was really good, but I don't think I carried it on. When I was in elementary, I know it was for sure, I had a coach. She's heavy into hip hop, right? And she was our PE coach, but she would have us recite that Nas, I can.
I know I can.
I know I can
be what I want to be.
Be what I want to.
If I work hard at it, I'll be where I want to be.
That right there, I would say,
that's
if
that job,
you're talking even small phrases or sentence, it's those things being able to
you just gotta
tell
hype
yourself
up.
that. Yeah. And I remember we used to do that when I was in elementary, and the feeling that I had just hearing that, as a kid. After that, when I left that school, I didn't have nothing that kind of kept that going, and it kind of almost got out of sight, out of mind. I just thought about it in this moment.
So young people, that's an important one, and I'm saying this because we got to cut it off. I know y'all attention span is like, what are these dudes still talking about? Listen, you can. Sometimes you got to hype yourself up. Just because you're scared doesn't mean that you are scary, right? Courage. Do it anyway, right? Find someone to help you, encourage you to do it. The chat says, validation is for humans, instructions, discipline, guidance is necessary. Stay rooted always. I agree. Fear is a tool. It is meant to protect you from harm in a primal way. But when you encounter something unknown, you need to observe and analyze, right? So don't just be fearful and scared, right? Be strong in your beliefs. Just because you're scared, it doesn't mean you are incapable, says Savannah. That's the one to leave on. Just because you're scared doesn't mean you are not capable.
I like that.
Do it scared. We love you. And make sure they know where to tap into us if they need to holler at us.
Always, we have the chat box right inside of our community to your right hand corner where you can drop in, connect with a coach, and or book a one-on-one session with a coach. Go under to the left, crisis support. There you can reach out to a coach to be able to book a one-on-one or connect to any other resources.
And lastly, please make sure you utilize all of the resources. You guys know every single week we are here with you on Thursdays at 5 o'clock. I want to say 5 o'clock. We are here for you on our weekly life groups. Make sure you tap in live on the Zoom. We will do that. Also, you have your ability to use the chat. Just chop it up, discuss some things with us, and we'll check y'all out next week. Love you.
Thanks for listening to the Finding Life podcast, GenAlpha Coaching Corner, with Life and Coach Jon. Remember, courage doesn't mean you're not afraid. It means you move anyway. Keep growing, keep trying, and keep believing.